Alex, thank you for coming to see us today.
Thanks.
That's a pleasure. Your company,
Hmm.
BaseStone. Interesting. Tell us, please, what do you do and where did the name come from? I know there's a story coming. Go on.
Yeah, there is a story about this. So, BaseStone, what we do is essentially we reduce costs and screw ups from happening on construction projects.
Okay.
And the way that we do this is that we built a tablet and web-based collaboration tool that links the construction site back to the office. And what it does is it speeds up communication and collaboration that happens between the two and allows people to flag problems happening earlier, which allows them to resolve those problems quicker. And then the knock-on effect is also the process of review is massively sped up. So a kind of double whammy that happens.
Could you give me an example of a type of problem or screw up that it either prevents or?
Yeah, I mean, so for instance, an example would be, I'll give you a process example.
Sure.
So it's back in my day I was an engineer and I worked in the industry for nearly 10 years.
Okay, cool.
One of the things that I used to do was I would print out a stack of drawings from the office and I'd take them with me to the construction site. And I would do an inspection of the construction site. I would be reviewing those drawings essentially whilst I'm on site. And I'd be marking them up with my knee or on a wall, and piece of paper.
In the rain.
Yeah, and I'd be taking photographs of problems I'd seen, and I'd remember that some of these photographs or problems I'd seen are linked to a particular report that I knew existed. And I'd go back to the office and I'd have to reprint the drawings. I'd have to redo the markup neatly because it needs to go back into our system. I'd have to find the report, put the reference number on it. I'd have to categorize the photographs, upload all of that. I'd then scan everything in and then spend the rest of the day writing a report on what I've actually seen. So it's a hugely time-intensive process. There's a lot of paper waste, and more often than not at this stage we'd find that the guys on site were making some of these mistakes because the version of the drawing that they would have had to hand was often out of sync with what we would have in the office. So a number of problems, and on that system, on that process, there's like 7 different pieces of hardware and software that's used to facilitate, that review. And so we built a system that's just one slick platform that deals with all of that, and massively reduces the time and effort associated with the review process. But also the benefit of it is that when people start their review, those reviews are essentially issues, and those issues can be flagged early. And the great thing about our system is it can be used from the very beginning of concept design all the way into detailed design, all the way into construction, and then right the way into handover. And at any stage where people are doing this back and forth review, they're flagging problems and fixing them faster. So we save quite a lot of money and a lot of time wherever we're used.
It's a brilliant idea. When did you initiate this as a product?
We started as a company about 2 years ago. We've built several iterations of the product since then. It's a constant. We favour this idea about the lean approach to startups, which is this whole build, measure, learn, and just do that as fast as possible. So one of the great things that we do is we have releases, certainly on the web app, that come out every couple of days. So we're very fast and iterative with this.
Yeah.
So in terms of versioning, I think we're on version 2.4 of the iPad app, and I don't even know what version of the web app we're on, but it's we're constantly evolving.
Yeah, because the web app you can update it much
faster.
frequently.
Yeah. The bottleneck for us on the with the iOS is the App Store.
Approval of it.
Exactly.
Yeah. Who's on your team?
There's a core team of 5, which is myself, obviously, and there's Simon, who's our CTO, Manuel, who is our lead software developer, takes care of all the back end. There's Laura, who does our marketing and essentially a growth hacker. And then there's Priya, who assists Laura with marketing activities, but also in terms of events. We run an event called Construct Disrupt.
Yeah, sure. We're coming to the next one.
Oh, are you?
Yeah,
brilliant! Fantastic!
Yeah,
that'd be great. You're welcome. It'll be awesome. So we run this little event. It's starting to become quite a big event, which is awesome. and it's designed to like link innovative startups that are doing stuff that would be of interest to the construction industry with these massive players that we have access to.
Yeah, because that really does lead into sort of the story here, which is that you've gone from a startup a startup, into dealing with some major organisations in a very short period of time.
Yeah.
Who are they, and how did that happen?
Yeah, so that's another great story. So, like most startups, we started off looking at smaller companies to gain traction with in the earlier stages, and we then had something incredible happen, which was we were approached completely unsolicited by High Speed 2, which is an enormous project. I think value-wise, it's the largest project in Europe. And the reason they approached us was they heard on the grapevine of what the system was trying to do in the early stages. So we ran a proof of concept trial with High Speed 2, which proved the use case for what we were doing and gave us the confidence to like continue to develop and raise money and all the rest of this. But then the real big win for us was off the back of that. High Speed 2 isn't being built at the moment. Well, we have added a lot of value during the building process as well. But it gave us the confidence to then approach Crossrail, who is currently the largest project, certainly infrastructure project in Europe. And we approached those guys, and they're very switched on. Actually, they have an innovation program. They have they have a mandate to leave a legacy behind.
Right.
Of innovation, and so once we happened to connect with them in a really good way, and then that led us into a larger trial that we did with Costain and Skanska, who are contractors on Crossrail. And then the knock-on effect of that was the trial went really well, and before you know it, we were being adopted, on various sites at Crossrail. By Crossrail themselves are looking into using us on their side of things as well,
as well as their contractors.
So it's a combination of a number of factors, and that's been simply the best thing that has happened to us.
Percentage of that was luck. Percentage of that was perfect timing and brilliance.
I think so. Yeah.
Split it?
Oh well, I don't know. That's a really hard one.
Right product, right time, right place.
I think there is a lot of things that are outside of our control on this. I think before tablets, before the adoption of cloud technology, before any of that, this would have been impossible.
Yeah.
So we're quite lucky in some ways to have the hardware and the infrastructure that exists today to be able to deliver a product like ours. Before that, you couldn't really do it effectively because the problem existed before.
Yeah, it's probably always existed.
Yeah, exactly.
So
exactly. So so there's a degree of luck and timing, and my career as well in the industry. The timing of I spent quite enough time in the industry to be able to really understand these problems deeply enough, and I was lucky to meet genius programmers, and so there is luck there, but there's also some true guts and kind of determination from the team. We have a really good team. I'm very proud of them. I always feel like they are. I always try and get it so that we hire in people that are better than me, and it's very easy to do that in terms of coding because I'm rubbish at that. So, but we've hit really good, really high level people throughout the team, which has led to making it possible to be adopted on places like Crossrail, which is awesome.
Yeah, well done indeed.
Thanks.